cultural differences, how would you do that?
My love, what do you think about the weather in SA?
Pretty normal. P's got nice weather. It doesn't get too cold, doesn't get too hot. Except for some people when they go get sunburned on safari tours. Apart from that, the weather's quite nice.
The weather is not normal to me because even now there's sun almost every morning. There's a sunrise, there's a sunset you can actually see, which makes me very excited.
There's a sunrise and a sunset in the Netherlands every time.
Yeah, but you barely see it because most of the times there are clouds.
Or you sleeping.
About culture, right? I feel that the culture in South Africa is much different than in the Netherlands. More so because, like, I don't know, it's like difficult to explain, but I feel
People are friendly.
it's more of a we culture instead of a me culture.
We've got the spirit of Ubuntu, which means togetherness, I guess, or doing things as a group or community. And that's where that saying comes, it takes a village to raise a child. So yeah, there's just a lot of things that you do together. When you have a bride, you don't just bride for yourself, you have friends, you invite friends, because why waste the fire? And we still have those type of elements. It's not just about me and my success, it's about everyone else doing it together, because yeah, that's how we're supposed to be as human beings. The culture is shifting, obviously, as we integrate with other cultures. Maybe the Western culture is starting to infiltrate a bit more, so you do have a lot more people which are thinking more I, but there is a strong sense of community still, where people think of more of things as we.
It's definitely like a difference. For example, when you go out for dinner and you invite, let's say, your friends to go with you out for dinner. So in the Netherlands, it's pretty normal to just split the bill. And whatever you had, just literally split it. And here's just like, no, I took you for dinner, so I'll pay for you.
It also depends how close your friends are. So even with you guys, yes, you might have it that, even with your close friends, you split the bill. But here in SA, maybe it's not the same. So you probably find if we're splitting the bill, we're not so close. If it is someone that you're close with, you probably know that you're going out again. So you pay for something, they'll pay for something, because you guys will see each other quite often. Depends, I think it's also, it will show how close you are to a person in terms of friendships.
What would you think is like the biggest difference between the Netherlands and South Africa? So it can be like culture-wise or weather-wise or like...
The obvious things will be weather, culture, friendliness, not just the Netherlands, the entire Europe. I think they're very cold. Put it this way, it also depends on who it is that you're meeting in Europe and the Netherlands, but a lot of ignorance. They think South Africa is just shacks. They think that it's just wildlife and animals. They think that, the hippos running around everywhere. There are towns like that, Richards that I live in, those where the hippos and stuff. They think, as much as we have said that things are unsafe, they think that everywhere is unsafe. No, it's as unsafe in certain parts of London as it is unsafe in PE.
It really depends also what you do.
So that's why.
But that's like everywhere. So if you go out as a lady by yourself in the middle of the night, you mustn't do that anywhere.
When we talk about the differences, I think it's, when I say ignorance, it's because I feel like we know a lot more about Western and European culture, and they have not made an effort, or will not like to make an effort to know about our culture or our ways of doing things. So when I get there, they get surprised that I know what an Xbox is or what a piece of software is, because they're just thinking that, well, we stay in shacks and huts. Or no, it's not that. Like, we know as much as you guys do.
What is like the non-obvious difference from, let's say, Europe and Africa?
The ignorance. Just knowledge, like that's what I'm saying. It is also maybe our own fault not our own fault. I think because of history and apartheid and colonization, our history books all have European history instead of African history. Whereas your books also have European history, and you're not learning a single thing about African history. So that's what I'm saying. The ignorance that I know about
a few things. Like you always tell me things. I'm like, I had no idea that this was a thing. Because like I didn't know. I feel like a lot of the things they didn't tell us.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that they didn't tell you, it's that you guys are ignorant about it because you don't know about it. So even small things like greeting, who it is that you greet, who you say yes, ma'am or sir to, you know, calling people by their surname instead of first name. Yes, it is obviously more respectful in some places, and I think because I went to English school in South Africa, maybe we're a lot more aware of that. If I think about it now, when I went to England, they were a lot more well-mannered, I would believe, than the others.
Yeah, the thing is like in the Netherlands, it's almost like, even when you say u, which means like, it's like polite,
Respectful.
all people just say you, just call me by my name or something. So it's also like more accepted that you can be rude, because that's how he tells me that is like rude. And I think that the culture in the Netherlands is just developing in more like maybe a rude manner or something, but
I wouldn't say
it's just
rude.
developing differently than here, because here you still have to say yes sir, yes ma'am. In the Netherlands, ja mevrouw, nee mevrouw, it's not really a standard anymore. I just don't know how to explain it, but it's just really not a standard anymore.
No, yeah, I think if you're not aware of the culture, it's very easy to offend someone, and then you put yourself in hot water. So,
yeah, you always need to ask, hi, how are you, before you actually start into getting the thing you want. That's the thing you learn very quickly, because if you don't say that, for example, at the airport, they are not like very willing to help you, because they're like, that's just rude. And in the Netherlands, it's like, can you get me this, can you get me that? If you say that here, they look at you like, okay.
Yeah. They won't go out of their way. Even like yesterday's situation, I think the fact that we greet to the person with respect, and you know, we're very humble in our approach. He didn't have to help us.
At the airport, you mean, with our aunt?
Exactly,
Yeah.
but he did, because you can see it's also a thing of, I saw he was a Xhosa man, so I knew how to approach him, how to ask for these type of things. Whereas I think if you might have done it, not that you would have done it in a disrespectful manner, if you didn't, you know, tick the right boxes, we might have had a bit of a difficult situation where the guy wouldn't be inclined to help us, because he didn't actually have to. We were in the wrong.
Yeah.
So
we didn't book a wheelchair for my aunt, and we have to do it 3 days in advance, but yeah, we didn't really know, so yeah. But it went all well. He was very good, so props to Airlink.
you don't know that you're being rude. That's why I say ignorance of knowing what you can do in your culture and you cannot do it in your culture. So I would
Just
guess,
be aware wherever you are that there are cultural differences, and you need to adjust as a person. Like, I'm still adjusting, even though I'm here for 4 weeks already, and I've been to South Africa in total 6 or 7 months, but I'm still adjusting sometimes. So it's just keep adjusting and keep listening to the boss, baby.
but also it's that thing of, I think when it comes to politeness, rather be over polite than impolite. So when I get to the Netherlands and I'm calling your dad sir, he's not offended, but he would say, okay, tone it down, you don't have to call me sir. But it's better to call him sir that he's, you know, not offended, than me calling by his first name and him being offended. It's just small things. Well, at least for me it's obvious, for her it's not so obvious. Alright. Let's go to all boys school. You should have gone to all girls school.
Yeah, probably. But our kids are gonna go to proper school. Gonna get manners.
Manners. I'll teach them because she's got no manners.
You have a blue tongue.
Cultural differences. The blue tongue.